Here's a good example of when this camera system comes in handy. Right now, you see this red Jeep in front of me. Well, it looks like we've got plenty of room, right? Well, let's put it in drive, and you see that it's giving us a little yellow indicator here, and it'll beep at us if we pull up a little bit. The reason why is because it has this little cargo tray on the back of this Jeep. So you can't see it with your eyes, but you can see it. The parking sensors will see it, and also it'll show up here on the camera. So yeah, the parking sensors works with the camera and gives you little bar indicators when it senses something here visually on the screen. So that's fantastic. And it has the rear cross traffic alert, but it also has the front cross traffic alert. So let's say you're pulling out and maybe you just don't see a car. The only problem is it doesn't really, until the car is actually visible in front of you, it doesn't really give you much of a notice. It's not like it sees down the road a ways, you know. If there's a fast car coming, it's not really going to give you a notice in time. But the idea is that if there's a car coming from either direction here in front of you, before you pull out, if you don't see it because there's an obstruction or a car in the way, but they see the camera has this wide view that looks both ways. Same thing behind you. You're able to see both ways here on the front. So this is actually better to me than the front cross traffic alert. But it also gives you a little indicator on the HUD as well. Now the HUD is is one of those things where it is mostly too dim on this vehicle, and it seems to have like the adaptive brightness, so a lot of times it's just too dim. And the only part really I can tell is the speedometer. The rest of it's kind of, sometimes just you can't really see it. I mean, it's fine. I'm glad they included it and all that stuff, but I think it could have been better implemented. So the engine, although you can hear a little bit, is a lot quieter than the previous, pretty much any other Toyota I've driven. Has been loud, and when the engine turns on and off constantly on a hybrid, and when the engine is like wah, loud and stuff like that, it really takes away from the, you know, if I don't know, it just makes you feel like you're in a cheap vehicle, or it's a vehicle that's, you know, just not refined or whatever. But this one, they did a great job of making that whole transition much smoother and quieter. So glad to see the changes that they made here, and it's very responsive. The hybrid system with the engine and all that stuff. The acceleration, steering is solid, it's smooth, relatively quiet. You know, all the things that I usually, well, most things that I usually have a problem with Toyota, they actually addressed them. You know, putting the camera in the back in the very center, quieting the engine, and having a, you know, just an overall quiet experience in general, not just the engine. But yeah, it feels like a big improvement this year. 2025 is like a big improvement compared to, you know, the incremental ones we've seen in the past. Now, one thing I would say that, you know, I don't really care for, just me personally, is this divider over here. It just kind of like, what's the purpose? It just kind of makes you feel more boxed in. You know, if this was more open, it'd be better. Also, the passenger can access the compartment a little bit better. You know, and that's the way the other one was too, and I didn't really care for it. But other than that, I made it less in the way, I guess. But yeah, steering wheel is well done, I think, for the most part, except for the disconnected mute button. And so yeah, a few more improvements, and they'll eventually get it perfect, I guess. but yeah, it's a much better vehicle than what it used to be. All right, let's go ahead and put it in sport mode. the acceleration has been impressive, both this vehicle and the Toyota Prius, actually. And this is like the Toyota Crown, Toyota Prius, put it together, and then you have the Camry now. And as far as the acceleration, passing, braking, everything has been fine. Now, it has this feature where when you're on the highway like this, when you put the turn signal on certain highways, that it's not doing it on this one, but on certain highways, it'll have like this lane change assist system. And the problem is, it's supposed to help you change lanes, I guess. You still have to have your hands on the steering wheel, so I'm not sure what the purpose of it is. But when you turn your head to check for the blind spot, as soon as I turn my head and look, the camera system recognizes that I'm not looking forward anymore, and it disables the system. So I guess it, I don't know, there's some refining that needs to be done there, because you can't rely on the blind spot detection system, because there's vehicles that could be like 2 inches behind you that are going faster than you, that's going to be in your right beside you, right? But it's not showing on the blind spot system, and you might not still be able to see them. So you can't rely on that. You have to check your blind spot, and when you do that, the system recognizes that you're not looking at forward anymore, and then it disables it. So yeah, it did it over and over again. I was like, I thought this highway was going to have it, but apparently not. It was another highway I was on, and I didn't have my camera and everything, but thought it was a odd implementation where it relies on you to look forward while you're changing lanes, which doesn't make any sense. But yeah, the quietness, the smoothness, and all that stuff is really well done on the highway. Much better. I think it would be a good highway vehicle. If you like a sedan, like if you like that sitting closer to the ground feel and everything, and not the SUV feel, then I think this would be a good choice for a lot of people if you want a hybrid. Now, I'm getting around 39 miles per gallon, 38, 39 miles per gallon. The window sticker says it's a little bit higher than that, but that's just what I've been getting. Maybe you can get better if you use eco mode or whatever. I've been using normal mode most of the time, and sport just for fun right there, but most of the time it's normal, because normal is plenty of power, plenty of acceleration, plenty of responsiveness, for me anyway.